Some hauntings are just stories. Footsteps in empty corridors, a shadow at the end of a hallway. But in a few places across Britain, witnesses claim something far darker happened. Something that didn't just appear, something that fought back. People have reported being shoved, scratched, even chased. Tonight we're looking at 5 real locations where the paranormal allegedly turned violent. Places where locals still warn visitors not to stay too long, especially after dark. And the final location. Even police once believed something was attacking people in the street. Let's start in a quiet town in West Yorkshire, where a normal house became the centre of one of Britain's most disturbing hauntings. 30 East Drive, West Yorkshire. From the outside, it looks completely ordinary. A small semi-detached council house on a quiet street. But in the 1960s, the family living inside claimed something invisible had turned their home into a battleground. They called it the Black Monk. At first, it was small things, keys vanishing, knocking sounds inside the walls. Then the activity became violent. Furniture reportedly slid across rooms. Heavy objects flew through the air. Neighbours claimed they saw items launch themselves from windows. But the most disturbing account came from the family's daughter. She claimed an unseen force grabbed her by the throat and dragged her halfway up the staircase. Visitors who stayed overnight later described feeling hands push them from behind while walking through the hallway. Even today, locals say the house has a reputation. Some refuse to walk past it alone at night. And if that sounds disturbing, the next location may be worse. Because on a lonely stretch of road across Dartmoor, drivers claimed something invisible grabbed their steering wheels. Postbridge Road, Devon. Dartmoor is beautiful during the day. Rolling hills, open sky. But at night, the empty roads feel very different. For more than a century, drivers have reported something impossible along a stretch of road near Postbridge. They say hands appear from nowhere. Large, hairy hands. Witnesses claim they suddenly felt fingers clamp onto their steering wheel, forcing the vehicle off course. Several early accidents along the road were blamed on the phenomenon. One motorcyclist reportedly described the experience moments before crashing. He said something grabbed the handlebars and tried to turn them. Some locals avoid that road entirely after dark. Others insist it's just a legend. But drivers still claim that strange feeling, as if someone else is trying to steer the car. And the next location proves the violence isn't always confined to lonely roads, because in a quiet London suburb, an invisible force allegedly attacked an entire family inside their home. North London. In 1977, a small council house became the centre of one of the most famous paranormal cases in Britain. Neighbours reported hearing screaming inside the house late at night. When investigators arrived, they claimed the situation escalated quickly. Furniture moved without warning. Heavy chairs slid across the floor. Witnesses described objects flying through the air. But the most frightening reports involved the children living there. One girl claimed something repeatedly pulled her from her bed. Another said she felt invisible hands shove her across the room. Visitors later described being struck by objects thrown by no one. Police officers who briefly visited the house even reported seeing a chair move on its own. The events became known as the Enfield Poltergeist. To this day, some believe it was one of the most violent hauntings ever recorded in Britain. But if you think hauntings only happen in houses, the next location suggests otherwise. Because in a quiet forest in Kent, walkers say something waits between the trees, and it doesn't like being disturbed. Pluckley, Kent. Pluckley is often called the most haunted village in England, but the place locals avoid most isn't a house. It's a stretch of woodland just outside the village, known as the Screaming Woods. According to local stories, travellers once became lost here centuries ago.
Are we lost? The trees look the same.
Mama, I hear noises.
Stay close. The path must be near.
Some allegedly died wandering through the dense forest. Since then, walkers have reported disturbing experiences. People claim they hear distant screams echoing through the trees. Others say something unseen runs behind them on the narrow paths. One group of teenagers once reported being chased out of the woods after hearing heavy footsteps gaining on them, despite seeing no one there. A few villagers even claim that those who linger too long feel sudden pushes, as if something wants them gone. But the final story on this list may be the strangest of all. Because in early 19th century London, people believed a ghost was attacking pedestrians in the street. London. In 1803, panic spread through the streets of Hammersmith. Residents began reporting sightings of a tall figure in white wandering near the churchyard. Witnesses claimed the apparition lunged at passers-by. Several people reported collapsing from shock after encounters. One woman allegedly fainted after the figure grabbed her clothing in the dark. The fear became so intense that armed patrols began searching the streets at night. Then tragedy struck. A patrolman mistook a man for the ghost and shot him. The case became one of the strangest legal incidents in British history. But even after the shooting, sightings reportedly continued. And some locals still say that certain streets in Hammersmith feel strangely empty after midnight, as if something is still wandering there. Most hauntings are harmless stories, a creaking floorboard, a cold spot in a hallway. But in these places, witnesses claim something far more aggressive happened. Invisible forces that pushed, grabbed, or chased people away. Were they exaggerations, misunderstandings, or something we still can't explain? And Britain is full of locations like these. Places where ordinary streets, houses, and forests hide darker stories. Places where the paranormal may have turned violent. If you want to see more locations like this, there are a few places in Britain where people claim the supernatural didn't just scare them. They say it followed them home. Please subscribe for more real accounts of hauntings, and if you enjoyed the video, I'd be grateful if you could give it a like. It really helps out the channel so I can bring the creepiest tales from across the UK. Until next time, see ya, and in a bit.